Uh-oh.
Hit that air raid sign or it's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to everything from the football weekend. Hold on, let me stretch out and get ready to overreact.
Okay. All right. Okay.
3 big thoughts. First thought, kind of a chalky week for Texas
It was a
high
bit
school
of a
football.
chalky week, yeah.
The first 3 weeks of Texas high school football have been out of control.
Sure.
They've been crazy town banana pants.
Yeah.
We've had giant upsets. We've had, crazy games, massive matchups, week in and week out. Week 4, I think because I called it Tweener Week on Fox Football Friday. We've got some teams, a lot of teams that are on byes, and then other teams that are starting district play, and other teams that are getting one more non-district game in that maybe they just want to overmatch them and kind of tune up, right? As a result, we didn't have a ton of giant storylines coming out of the weekend. I mean, when New Caney Porter beat Crosby, that's obviously a huge upset, but that's the outlier here.
Right.
We didn't have a ton of really crazy
There really
results.
weren't. I mean, when I put together Friday Night 5, and if you don't read it on the site, it's a kind of like an instant, here's what we got from the night really quickly.
Here's a nice snapshot.
Snapshot of how the night went and what you should take away from it. I'm always I go through every score in the state, and I go,
that jumps out at me.
Okay. Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. And there just weren't that many.
There weren't a
just
ton
weren't
that
that
jumped
many
out.
hey waits.
Yeah, there weren't a ton that jumped out at you. You had a lot of favorites winning.
Yeah.
And it was just it. And I think our rankings reflect that. If you check out texasfootball.com/rankings, we have our new rankings up. And it's a lot of status quo. We had some teams, I do the 6A rankings, I moved Cedar Ridge up a couple spots over teams that were idle.
Right.
And I normally don't like to do that, but I did it because they beat Temple, and it was a really impressive
and that
win.
was the other thing. There were a handful of prove-it games, and a couple teams proved it, maybe not sizably, not blowouts or anything like that, but, okay, that team clearly has an edge here.
Yeah.
So, there were a few results like that, but nothing that really blew you away.
Like I said.
Yeah.
Like I said, pretty chalky.
Yeah.
Thought 2.
Okay.
The perils of hype.
They are fraught and everywhere.
So, I'm speaking particularly about Texas. Texas.
I did see you tweeting about this.
Goes and right after we were talking about it, right after they beat Notre Dame, all of a sudden they hadn't even won yet.
Right.
And literally, as Tyrone Swoops is diving into the end zone, Joe Tessitore,
Texas is back.
Texas is back. And it seems like that's what everyone glommed onto.
And we talked about this.
We go, guys, it's a great win, but we saw them beat Oklahoma last year, and it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, and I made this point, I think Texas is moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think things are going well, and I think that overall the arrow's pointed up.
Right. My whole thing is not Texas is back to being the favorite in every game. Texas is back to being a genuine threat to anyone that lines up against them.
That is fine.
That doesn't mean they're going to win.
That is
doesn't
fine.
mean they're favored. That's a good place to be, though,
Right.
compared to the last 3 or 4 years.
But let's be real. Texas runs those Cal clowns off the field in their peak days.
Right.
05 Texas murders that Cal team.
Yeah.
Texas is moving in the right direction, but this is what hype does to it, is that all of a sudden they jump to number 11 in the nation.
Right, out of nowhere.
Yeah. And that's why I'm now very cautious about A&M.
Right.
Because A&M has moved to number 10 in the AP Top 10. Or AP Top 25. I mean, Top 10 too. And they beat UCLA, and that's a nice win. Although UCLA didn't look amazing, but they beat UCLA, and that's a nice win. Then they beat Prairie View A&M, okay, whatever. Then they go on the road, and they beat an Auburn team that we're still not sure about.
Right.
And they beat them by 9. And
it was one of those.
It's a nice win.
It was a nice win. Even though it was not a huge point gap, it never felt like A&M was not going to win the game.
19-2. That's what Kevin Sumlin is in September. 20-14. That's what he is the rest of the way.
Right.
I'm saying it's not a crime to say we want to see more data.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thought number 3, buckle up for Week 5. We're going to talk about it all week. Week 4 of Texas high school football, good. fine. Little bit, maybe a step down from
A lot of
the
teams
normal
off.
weeks. A lot of teams
A lot
off.
of teams off. Yeah.
Week 5. Ooh, boy.
There's some
Steele and Judson.
heavyweight clashes.
DeSoto and Cedar Hill. And those are just the headliners. There's a ton of really, really great games right underneath that upper crust.
Yeah.
Friendswood and Dickinson's going to be great. You've got a battle of unbeatens in Coleman and Clyde.
Yep.
You've got a few other undefeated. White Oak and Gilmer Harmony go at it. It's going to be a great Week 5 of Texas high school football. So buckle up. 3 helmet stickers. Rockwall wide receiver Sam Crawford, 9 catches, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, all in the second half as Rockwall comes back to beat John Tyler. Impressive stuff from the Yellow Jackets. They were going to be the best 0-4 team in the state.
Yeah.
And now they're like the best 1-3 team in the state. I didn't do that. Oh, no, that was from last week. From a college perspective, let's give it to Pat Mahomes.
Okay.
Pat Mahomes went nuts.
Right.
I tweeted a video of him making a throw last week or against Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
And he just flicks his wrist. And it goes like 45
Like
yards
this, like-
on a dime.
Yeah.
On a dime to one of his wide receivers for a touchdown. Nuts. So, and his 8th game with 4 or more passing touchdowns in his career. He's only played 19 games.
He's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Finally, Lone Oak quarterback Quade Williams. 341 yards and 4 touchdowns passing. 121 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. Freshman.
Yeah.
Freshman.
Let's get used to
And he
this
did
one.
that. That's really impressive. Those are my helmet stickers. 3 teams to watch. A-Leaf Taylor. A-Leaf Taylor has climbed into our rankings. They are now 4-0. They've climbed into our 6A rankings at number 24, and they're doing it with defense. They got wins over Fort Bend Bush, Spring Decaney, Cy Falls, and they beat Katy Seven Lakes. They haven't given up more than 14 points all year. They're heading into the teeth of district play, where they'll get Pearland and Pearland Dawson plus A-Leaf Elsick plus George Ranch. But right now, watch out for the Lions. A-Leaf Taylor looking pretty good. Watch out for UTSA. Sometimes you just can't finish. And I made this point when I was doing my free money picks on Friday.
Yeah.
I said they always play these types of teams tough at the Alamo Dome.
Yep.
And they darn near did it again.
Here's my question for you. Who's more annoyed in the fourth quarter at the end of that game? UTSA fans or Texas Tech fans?
UTSA fans.
Ah.
UTSA fans because Texas Tech at least got the win. You know?
No. Texas Tech lost to Arizona State.
Oh, when they lost to Arizona. Oh, you're saying against. I thought you were talking about Louisiana Tech.
No.
Yeah, that's tough.
Right. Yeah, so now you see what I'm asking.
For UTSA, the thing is that this would have been the biggest win of program history. Still, I am super impressed with what we saw. And I know that moral victories are not necessarily
and it fell apart pretty terribly in the end.
It did.
For
the
all
offense
the
just stopped.
For all of Sturm's heroics the first 2.5 quarters, it definitely went pear-shaped the rest of the way.
It did.
But it was a nice moment.
Robinson. Have you seen what Chase Allison's doing for Robinson?
He's having a nice year.
This Robinson team is putting up stupid numbers. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up.
I think that's one of the reasons Mike Craven did so well in DCTF Fantasy this week. I think he picked Robinson.
Dude, so right now, Chase Allison has thrown for 1,842 yards in 4 games.
Is that all?
25 touchdowns, okay? He's also got a rushing touchdown. I mean, this kid's averaging 460 yards passing a game.
Pretty good.
This is out of control. What he's doing is out of control. So watch out for Robinson. 3 teams to worry about. Temple. They lose their 2nd straight game to Hewitt Midway. Again, go versus 6A team, and a good 6A team.
Yeah.
But this combined with what we've seen, I'm worried about this offense because this is 2 consecutive weeks that the offense hasn't shown up.
Right.
And I need to see something from the offense before I'm ready to get them back into kind of 5A contender mode.
Yeah.
UTEP.
That was...
Now, I think now having seen 2 of their games in back-to-back weeks, I think Army's actually decent.
Army's clearly going to have a great year.
They're
that is not...
clearly a lot better than they were.
The issue here wasn't that Army was the better team, although, of course, you can make the argument that a service academy has lots of things working against it compared to a school like UTEP. That's not the issue here. The issue here was they just They beat the hell out of them.
It was
the hell out of them.
It was a hellacious game for
It was
UTEP.
rough, man.
And nothing worked. Offense didn't work. Defense didn't work. It's bad news bears for UTEP. Cedar Park Vista Ridge. 1-3.
Yeah.
And now their reward is that they get a district with Lake Travis, Westlake, and also an Austin Vandegrift team.
Yeah.
That's out for blood.
This is rough.
God forbid,
It's
Buda
rough.
Hayes gets really hot at
Right.
the same time.
Yeah.
Leander, something like that. So I would watch out for Cedar Park Vista
Yeah,
Ridge.
it's
Those
a
are
rough
teams
stretch.
watch
I mean, look, move up a class. Clearly lost a lot of talent from that state
Matt Snow's
semifinal
off
team.
the team, yeah.
Coach Vincent's great.
Mhm.
I mean, he was our coach of the year last year. I don't think it's a coaching issue. It's just sometimes you run into these stretches.
It's pretty tough. That's Monday Morning Fallout.